What's up, guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Cello the Fashion Fairy. If you're coming by for the first time, you're welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, you're welcome back. If you want to learn how to make this Basque corset gown, definitely keep watching. See you in my tutorial.
Every single day I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
Hi, so fairies, and welcome to class. So in today's tutorial, of course, we'll be learning how to draft a Basque waistline corset gown. So for this tutorial, you'll be needing your basic bodice pattern. I already have a video on this. Please click on the link below and it will take you straight to that tutorial. So here we have our chest line, bust line, under bust, and waistline. You already know that the difference between your front waistline and your back waistline forms our dart. So for this client, I'm working with 1 inch of dart. So it varies depending on what your back waistline is and the difference between your front waistline, of course, and your back waistline. So let's just go ahead with this tutorial. So the first thing I want us to do is to determine what our under bust measurement is. And once that is sorted out, we're going to divide that measurement by 4, and whatever we have, we're just going to place it. So I have an excess of about ½ inch on my under bust, and I wanted it to be a bit more contoured, so I added ½ inch to my under bust area. So I'm just going to take that away from the dart area as well. So whatever I've added as excess on my under bust line, I'm going to take it away as that. Why I usually do this is because if I want to contour the under bust area very well, you know, when you contour it very well, your bust is more prominent, it sits pretty. So I'm just going to also add ½ inch to my waist, and that will serve as ease. If you don't need this ease, you can also take it away from your dart, but for this project I'm not going to be taking it away. So I'm just going to go in with my marker pen and highlight it a little bit better so that you will see what the style line now looks like. So I'm not going to be using the original line, that's why I'm making a mark right here, and whatever excess I have, I'm going to take it away from the under bust. So in order to have a style line for our over bust tightening, I'll be dividing my shoulder measurement by 2, and I'm going to be connecting that directly to my nipple point. Remember that we need that measurement, your bust point to bust point measurement, or nipple to nipple measurement, and that's where I'm connecting this line to. So now that we have this line, I'm just going to go ahead with my curve, and I'm just going to tighten the under bust as I stated before. So make sure you have a beautiful curve, and do make sure it's coming from that nipple point so that there's no sharpness anywhere. I usually don't like to have any sharp points, so I take my time to make sure I eliminate whatever causes any sharp points, and I think you should do the same as well. So going in with my curve again, I'm going to contour the other side of my under bust, and I'm connecting that directly to my waist dart. So this is what we have so far, guys. We're making progress, and the next thing, I'm going to mark ½ inch from the center front line, and I'm also going to mark it on the waistline just to have a straight line running all the way from that point to my waistline. So now that we have this, we're just going to go ahead and determine where we want our corset to sit. Now this is totally up to you, but what I usually do is the difference between my bust and my under bust, and I measure it upwards, and I determine where I want it to sit. So for this project, I'm going to be using just that line there. So you can go in by 6½ inches, you can go in by 7 inches, 6 inches on that construction line for the over bust tightening. So if you were doing a bustier or a bustier, however you call it, this is what the style line should look like. It should go directly to your center front. So I'm just showing you that you can also use this pattern to do your bustier, your off shoulder, to get your sweetheart neckline. But for this tutorial, I'll be marking from this 1/2 inch mark that I already made, and I'm just going to connect it back to my construction line for my over bust tightening. So this is what I'll be needing. I will not be needing the first line that I made. I just did it in for you to know that you can also use this pattern to make other patterns as well. So this is what we have so far. So the next thing is to do our over bust tightening. Now for this client, she has a small frame. I wouldn't be taking more than 1.5 inches, so it's totally up to you. Her chest line is 11, so for this client, I'm going to be taking 3/4 on each side, or 1/2 inch on each side. It depends on you. Both will work. The only thing is that it will be a bit firmer if you take 3/4 inches, but never take more than 3/4 for a small frame. For a bigger frame, you can go as much as 1 inch on both sides to make it a bit firmer. So this is what we have so far, guys, and it's looking pretty so far. So we're just going to move over quickly to the back to do the contouring for the back. So for the back, I will be taking 1/4 inch on each side of the dart, so a total of 1/2 inch from the back, just to make it a little bit firmer, and we're just going to connect that back to the original dart leg. So for the back, you can go as low as 1 inch, 1.5 inches, depending on the style line that you're aiming for. For this tutorial, I'm just going to go down by 1 inch, and from the front armhole, I'm just going to connect a line from the back all the way to meet that front armhole. So this is what it looks like, and this is all we'll be doing for the back. Except you want to have more panels for the back, then you're free to make in more cuts or more style lines, but for now, this is how I'm going to leave it. So going back to the front, remember we added our dart of 1 inch. So going back to the front, we're just going to go ahead and close that dart. So I'm just going to open it up so that it can allow me to close the dart as I need to. So I'm just going to pinch it like so, and if you do this and you find out that the lines are not meeting each other, kindly use your ruler, your curve. Make sure you connect both sides together. Okay, so for me to properly close this dart, I must open up another dart. So I'm just going to make a mark here and open this side up so that it will be easier for me to close this dart. So now that I've done it, I'm just going to move it like so, and just like that, we have closed out our dart. So I'm just going to go in with my paper tape, which is a lifesaver, by the way, and I'm just going to glue that down, gum that down, whatever you choose to call it, and whatever excess I have by the sides, I'm just going to go ahead and even it out like so. So now I've successfully transferred my side dart to my waist, as you can see. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut off my waist dart as well. So guys, if you're still here and you've not subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Kindly subscribe, like, share and comment. I would really appreciate that. So if you were using a yoke on this Basque gown, this would serve as your yoke, but I'm not going to use a yoke, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut it off. So to make sure that I don't have any shortage when I sew this thing up, I just closed the over bust dart and noticed that I had a little bit of shortage there. So I'm just going in with my curve to make sure I don't have any shortage at that point. So I'm just going to connect from that line all the way to my style line for the front, and this is what I have so far. Having sorted that out, at this point you would notice when you're bringing this pattern to life that you're not going to lose any shortage whatsoever. You can also go in with your tape and measure this part right here, and also measure the other part, so wherever you have any shortage you can add it back to your pattern. This is why I love pattern drafting, guys. You can adjust it anyhow you like. So to form our cup, what I usually do is either I use the shoulder line, which is exactly where that line is running from top to that point, yes, or I can go in by 1 inch from the side front. Now if I'm working with a bust of probably 36 and above, I will do just 1 inch, but this is a small bust, so I will need to take in more, less than 1.5 inches. So I'm just going to go in with my curve, and from that shoulder line that I showed you guys, I'm just going to make a mark from there, making sure I touch my under bust. Please make sure you touch your under bust when you're doing this. I know a lot of people don't do this. They prefer probably to go 1 inch upwards, but I don't like it. I prefer to get it to my under bust. So I'm doing the same to my center front as well, and this is what we have so far. So if you want to make any adjustment to your cup, this will be a good time to do this, but make sure you label everything properly, guys. By the time you cut this on your fabric, you're going to be confused, trust me on this. So you want to make sure that you even put notches, you want to make sure that you label accordingly. So if you're adding a style line to this, you can measure 1.5 inches all the way around, and you're just going to go in with your curve and add the style line if you want to. So by the time you do this, it's going to give you a different type of cup, but I'm not going to use it for this tutorial. I'm just going to use the regular one. So for the back, you can add that style line as well, but I don't want it. So I'm just going to go in and cut off my patterns. So this is what I have for the front, and if you need to add style lines, you can just do it like so. So for this tutorial, I'll just be using that one I just made, but if you need more, of course you do it as much as you want to. So this is what I have for the front, going in to make sure I label accordingly. Very, very important, guys. I'm just going to check the waist to make sure that I have the right waist measurement. So I do have the right waist measurement plus that 1/2 inch of ease that I added before. So I'm just going to tape it together and keep it aside. So this is what my back looks like. I'm just going to cut that off real quick, remove my darts, label accordingly with my arrows. You would think I'm wasting my time, but guys, if you do this without doing that, without labeling properly, sorry. Okay, so this is my skirt pattern. If you don't already know how to draft a skirt pattern, please click on the link above and it will take you straight to that tutorial. So for this skirt pattern, it does not have a waist dart. This style that I'm making does not have a waist dart, sorry, it does not have a waist dart. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark 1 inch from the waistline. So I want to make sure I don't have any folds in front because this does not have a dart. So I'm just going to connect it like so that I will eliminate any baggage I may have at the end of the day. So this is what it looks like when you take it down and you make a pretty curve to meet that 1 inch point. So I'm just going to bring my pattern. Now if you are making this with a waist dart, you place it like so, just the way you're seeing it. Place it like this and just do your dart thing. But I really don't like darts in skirts. It makes it look weird to me. So I'm just showing you how to do it if you were using a dart. But for me, since I'm not using a dart, I'm going to tilt this to meet that 1 inch mark. So this is how I'm going to do it. So this will help me eliminate any excess I may have in front as a result of not using a dart line, or rather dart lines. So this is how I'm going to be doing this. So from this center front, I'm going to mark 3 inches downwards. You can go as low as 3.5, as low, but don't do more than 4 inches, guys, so that you'll be able to sit comfortably. So I'm just going to use my curve. You can do this with a straight line, but a curve is usually better. So I'm using just a slight curve to connect it all the way to my waistline. So this is what it looks like so far. So I'm just going to go in with my paper tape and make sure I secure this. Now the aim is to make sure that it lies flat, so don't mind that little 1/4 inch that I missed. It's intentional because it made it lie flat. So make sure your pattern is lying flat on the paper, on the skirt pattern. So this is what we have. I'm making sure that it's matching my waistline, and I'm just going to quickly cut this out. So this is what we have for the upper part. I will just go ahead and also cut out the skirt part, so that we will use that to cut out the lower part of this gown. So let me quickly cut out the skirt. So this is what we have so far. You can see that it matches each other beautifully. So what I'm going to do is to extend all these style lines to the other side of my skirt. So I'm just going to go in with my pencil, and I'm going to connect it all the way down. So take your time in doing this to make sure that you have straight lines. So I'm just going to go in with my marker pen to make sure you are seeing what I am doing. So this is what I have so far. I will just use my scissors to open everything up. So this is what I have now. I have my A, my B, and my C. So I'm done with the front, and I will just move over to the back. The back doesn't really have any issue. The back is straight, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut this off on the fabric that I am using. And I already did that. So this is what I have. I added allowances where needed. I added to the sides for joining and for putting the cup and everything that you need to add. So make sure you don't forget to add your allowances and your notches. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you what I have for the back. So this is what the back looks like. Don't forget your zipper allowance, your side allowances, your joining allowances as needed. So I'm just going to go ahead to my machine, and I'm going to put all the pieces together and show you what it looks like. So now I have all my pieces put together. The skirt part, I already held them by the sides. I already went ahead to connect all the pieces for the top, for the corset together, and this is what I have so far. I used wording for the cups. I used paper stay to make, because the material kept shifting, so I used paper stay, and I ironed all the allowances open. I also went ahead to use my bias binding to create all these style lines. Now if you're using boning for this, you will need to create channel for the boning. If you don't know how to already do this, please check my previous video on corsets to know how to create boning channel. So this is my lining piece, and I'm going to be using my lining to be turning the upper part of this. Because this is a tutorial, I won't be using a lining to turn the skirt part of this gown. But of course, if you were making it for yourself or a client, you would need to use lining for the skirt as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this, and also attach the skirt pattern. I keep saying pattern. I also attach the skirt to this as well, and I'm going to hem the bottom part to make sure it doesn't fray. And then the inside, of course, I'm going to clean it out with my interlocking machine. So I'll just go ahead and do this quickly, and I'll come back to you in a jiff. Okay, so I've gone ahead to do everything off camera, and this is what I have so far. I've not even ironed it yet, and it looks this good. So this is how I seal the waistline, the inside, and this is what we have so far, guys. So I'm just going to go ahead and go put my zipper. If you were using loops for this, it would be a good time to add your loops as well, but I'm not doing that for this gown. So now that I have done this so far, I'm just going to go in with my iron and make sure everything is laying flat. So beautiful, guys. So I've gone ahead to do that. I've hemmed the inside. I've also closed up the lower part, turned it with lining, top stitched it as well, added my zipper, and this is what I have so far. If you were doing this for yourself or your client, of course you would need to use a matching zipper, but this is only a tutorial. So let's see how this looks like on my mannequin. Oh my lord, this looks so beautiful, guys. Don't you agree? If you found this tutorial helpful, please like, share, and of course please subscribe and join the DIY fam. We release our tutorials every other week, and I know you wouldn't want to miss out on any of our tutorials. This looks so beautiful, guys. Don't you agree? If you get to try this out, please let me know. Thank you for watching. See you in my next tutorial. I love you guys. Bye.